What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Chris coming at you for another Deerfish Gaming video, and today I'm coming at you with our Han2 Blue mini series, continuing live from Profundity because I won a Carbonite booster box tournament recently, and I did a deck breakdown, and now it's time to start covering some of that gameplay. We got top four matchup, Qira Data Vault versus Han2 Blue. If you want to hit that deck breakdown, check that out. It'll be linked at the end of the video. It is also on the Star Wars Unlimited playlist. I go over my thoughts, and I also have a couple of changes that I made that aren't going to be on this picture because this is the exact list I used that day. So hit like if you like the idea of getting some more Star Wars Unlimited content. Hit subscribe if you don't want to miss any more content coming out of this channel. I did a deck breakdown you can go check out. This is a top four match. I got the finals that's going to be coming out next. And then after that will be a deep dive on this deck. I have had a couple of messages asking for a deep dive, and I've had a comment asking for a deep dive. So that is what I'm going to start working on after I get the finals match pumped out. So hit subscribe if you don't want to miss any of that content. But without further ado, right, let's get into the matchup today against the Qira Data Vault. A little bit of background real quick. I lost round one to my friend Isaiah, who was piloting this deck. He's a very good pilot. I play against Isaiah a lot. He knows what I'm trying to do with my Han2 Blue deck, so it's a very back and forth slobber knocker. And Isaiah and I consider each other, I guess, arch nemesis. It's a friendly banter we got going. I really enjoy playing against Isaiah. He's a great dude. Thanks for the two matches that day where you beat my butt in the first match. And then I was able to get my revenge in top four, but by no means was easy, but was a lot of fun every time we play each other. So let's get into this slobber knocker of a match. Okay, so fresh off of the mulligan, we're getting into game one. My opponent has the initiative and passes to me, and I will play an L3 with Han's ability. And then I pass after my opponent claims. Okay, just checking out L3, determining the threat level. No power needed right now, is what my opponent feels. I decide to attack with L3 to the base, make the super laser tech crash into the L3. And then I have to pass after my opponent claims. So just not very good for me. Okay, so the super laser tech into the L3. Natural. Ki-Adi-Mundi coming out for 4. A good second option to the Poe Dameron. It comes out as a 5/5, not necessarily a 6/4 like Poe Dameron. But if I play a unit next turn and flip Han, the coordinate will be online. So you don't want to let me draw an extra 2 cards in this matchup, especially when we're kind of controlling each other and I have hand discard that I can potentially draw into. So Super Laser Tech comes out. I have to claim. I'm tapped out. Can't do anything. My opponent is debating on whether to ping off the Super Laser Tech or not. So my opponent did not pay the 1 for the action of popping the Super Laser Tech. I believe only 2 resources should be up at the moment. I did not catch that. I do not play Qira too often. I was just kind of assuming that I did not catch that at the time. So that Power of the Dark Side should not have been able to be played, and then 4 damage to the base. But it is what it is. And we are moving on. We're looking at things in hindsight, right? I make a mistake later that that could have been, that I don't like to see me make. Okay. Alright, with the 5 resources for me. Debates on what I want to do. I'll play 3 for the red squadron X-Wing. Draw my card, put the 2 damage on it. Deciding. Probably has a bunch of good options. My opponent has a very good board state right now. Attacks with Qira for 4 to the base. So now I'm at 8 damage. I decide to play the Phantom 3 for 2 and give it, make it a 5/1. Traitorist, my Phantom 2. No bueno for me. And then Dr. Pershing comes out. So my opponent has, I have not ripped their hand, have control of the board, and I am not in a good spot for this game 1. I am not in a good spot at all. Okay. And I did not flip Han because he would have just died. Okay. So I traded the Phantom 2 into the red Squadron X-Wing just to clean up space. I don't have my upgrade removal in the main deck for this tournament. A disabling Fang Fighter or a Confiscate would have been very good for that scenario. But you know, also don't see very many Traitors as main deck, I don't think. But I also, again, haven't been playing a lot of Qira. So I used the sacked Phantom 2 to be able to neg out Qira. That way, only Dr. Pershing is a threat as of right now. Of course, my opponent has not used any of the resources. So anything could happen. A Maul could come out. A Vader could come out. And a Vader is what comes out. Choosing to search first before choosing any effect of the ambush or anything like that. Alright. The ambushes into Luke. So because of my 2 damage onto Luke, that does allow Vader to survive. So now I will flip Han to clean up Vader because Han will be able to survive. Now it's going to force that trooper to be to go straight into Han Solo, and then I won't be able to use my Han ability. And since I'm at 7, that will stop me from potentially playing a redemption early if that was something that I wanted to do. Maybe get a little bit of healing action in. So that's pretty good. However, I still will be able to play another Han unit if that's what I have. I mean Luke. I said Han unit. I mean Luke. Just Han on the brain. So now I finally hit my pillages. Hit one of my pillages. It does feel a little late in the game. Does have a Pershing out, so it's going to be able to recover one of those cards. One of those cards is a Maul, which tells me I have some pretty good cards in hand if he's having to pitch a Maul. So a Reinforcement Walker is definitely a good card to not definitely want to pitch when you have a great board state. I play a Yoda. And now deciding whether it wants to get an attack off with Reinforcement Walker to get a draw or get a draw with Pershing right now. My opponent decides to claim. I think that's what I would do. What's one more draw? I'm gonna try to answer the Reinforcement Walker immediately. So might as well try to get an attack off with the Reinforcement Walker. 6 damage to base is pretty important. Maybe even take out that Yoda, prevent a Force Throw to come out. If you have a bunch of big boys in hand, you don't want to get your Reinforcement Walker damaged out. All right. 6 to base and drew, just like I thought. And then I did a force throw. All right. He had a card costing 4 that allowed to survive either card, or just allowed the damage to go through. No gloried the Yoda, and then he gets to draw the card off of Yoda. Little flippity flip. Almost got the Yoda confused into the resource pile. And then we play Tantive 4. So, I do like playing this card against control. Allows you to kind of go wide, in one play, so you don't get taken out by a power of the dark side. They're gonna have to enter the Tantive 4 outright, and then I can potentially play my Crate Dragon more a little bit safer. So a Fellow Dragon does come out. Um, really hasn't had to use any other fells, so still not safe for Crate to come out, but let's see what happens. We do have an X-Wing to prevent from Power of the Dark Side. And then I do find the crate, and I do slam the crate. Seven, nine. Okay, I did pay 9 for him. I normally have it in rows of 3. I was looking, did I pay the full 9? But yeah, I normally do rows of 3. I have a 4, 2, and a 3 that threw my brain off. Sorry for the lack. So I do. I just claim because I can't really do much. I played the crate dragon. My opponent drew a card with the Pershing. So um, my opponent has no resources spent. Very, very good spot, I believe. Okay, a lot of cards in my opponent hand. This is not really where I'm looking to be. I'm almost assuredly he has a removal event, and he did. I'm going to clean up the reinforcement walker with the event, and then the devastating gunship takes out my X-Wing token. A free board clear again. So Power of the Dark Side online again if I decide to just slam another big unit. Not necessarily what I want to see and the position I want to be in right now. So I will play the Guerrilla Attack Pod with Han's ability. Make it a 6/4. And then he just plays Devastator. Nothing wrong with that, okay? Now I do have a lot of Restore, and I do have Removal. So very grim, but I have been able to squeeze out of scenarios like this before. Maybe not necessarily against the Qira Data Vault deck, but I did not draw a removal spell. I did not have anything in my hand to deal with the board state, so I decided to scoop, and now we're going to sideboard, and I will see you guys at the start of game 2. Okay, we're all sided in, and we're all shuffled up. I will tell you, I sided in my Redemption, and I sided in the Cham Syndulas, and I think that's all I sided in. I think I like this the situation that I have with the main deck and the control. Most part, I think the only thing I would have wanted was like another discard card, like another pillage. So I start with Yoda on turn 1, giving him 2 damage. My opponent plays the Infernal 4. Much better than seeing a Dr. Pershing. Alright, I claim, and then we go on to the next turn. Okay. I start off with the Red Squadron X-Wing or A-Wing, whatever. I forget which letter it is. And I get to draw another card. Plays the Phase Trooper. Yoda would die and the Phase Trooper would survive. I don't have any damage on base to restore. So I'm just not going to do anything. And then so my opponent chooses to sack his own Inferno 4 so that he could look at the top 2 cards of his deck and ensure he got a better draw next time. I claimed, and now we're going on to the next phase. Let's see if I can have a better showing in game 2. Did not hit any of the discard that I really think you need to hit in this matchup. So I will begin by playing Poe Dameron. So killing Yoda immediately. And I draw my card for Yoda. And I claim. Then a Fell the Dragon comes out. That's okay, guys. That's okay. If you watch my deck breakdown video, this deck, especially in this matchup, you want those to happen now. Because we are trying to have Crate be safe later. So, and the only way to do that is hit the hand and play big things like Poe. You gotta figure out a way to do both. So I play the Hammerhead. The Hammerhead is very good at getting a body out and then also doing some type of removal at the same time. And I could have waited, could have passed, waited for Qira, but I didn't have enough cards in hand to kill Qira with Hammerhand. I don't. Oh, I did. I did have 4, but cleaning up the Sentinel is okay, and it is what it is. So now the Overwhelming Barrage comes out. Okay, so there comes the Overwhelming Barrage. So maybe in that instance, maybe I should have flipped Han first, and then played the Hammerhead. That was probably the better play. Hindsight is 20/20, of course. I do 3 to base because Qira is going to most certainly take out the Han Solo, and that is what happens. And so now she is at that nifty 7 damage mark. And with Grit, she is a 7/1. Scary girl. Scary, scary girl. Okay, I have another Red Squadron X-Wing. So a very, very good card. 7 to base. Nothing I can do about that. Use Han's ability. I will play Yoda. Does my opponent have anything? No, no removal. So I am able to safely play the Force Throw, and 1 damage will clean up that Qira any card, as long as it's not Metal Ceremony. Alright, and Power of the Dark Side. And the side deck accidentally gets hit. Okay, so we got rid of one of those powers. And that power is devastating, especially in the late, being able to play that for 3, take out one of my big units, then respond with a big unit of their own. So I love seeing those be gone. Okay. So my opponent played Vader, choosing to look through the cards before triggering the ambush. Alright, hits the Pershing. Cannot let that card draw go on with the Pershing. Or, gotta recover with the card draw from the discard. Well, I didn't hit it too much, but it did seem to hit. And so I played Luke for 1 cheaper, and then I forced through. My opponent claimed. Or he drew. Yeah, he claimed. He claimed. Okay, so we get rid of them all, and so we take out the Vader and the Pershing in the same turn, and no extra draws coming from that Pershing. We are sitting very, very good. There comes that 2 damage. Isaiah and I play a lot, so what you call it? So we go kind of fast, and so I apologize for not putting that 2 damage on at the beginning before I did the force throw. Doesn't bode well for the video. I gotta work on that, especially when I'm recording. Plays the Vader with the Palpatine's return. Gets yet another Pershing. Just Pershings after Pershings and Vaders. This is why I went up to 3 fells. So I decide to pillage. Looks like that was a no glory only results and a super laser blast. So now I will fell the Vader. And I passed. I should have hit 3 to base because my opponent already claimed. Hindsight is 2020. Heat of the moment. I had, it is what it is. I'm worried about how to survive. All right, my opponent chooses to draw with Pershing. We still have 6 damage on his base and 7 damage on my base. This is still very close. So I play the Crate Dragon. All right, fell the dragon, and I will get that Pershing out of the way. No more card draw. And then another Pershing comes out. This is definitely, this is what you got to do. You got to draw the removal, and hit the discard when you draw it, and I mean, yeah, just slowly, take out their stuff with your removal, and eventually, should be able to come up on top. They have more cards in their deck. However, with your hand hate, you are able to most of the time create a board presence eventually. So I play another Crate Dragon. So, whew, is there going to be another removal spell that was drawn from the Pershing? Okay, gives Crate the shield, and then he no gloried my Crate Dragon. He did have an answer. Okay. I choose not to do the Pershing because it has a shield. So, pretty good there. My opponent will now be able to, for sure, probably get a draw off of that Pershing with that shield on there. I have no more crates. Play 6 for Luke. And we get rid of that Pershing before it can draw because of the neg out. And the third Vader, it has always been there. Well, he Palps returned 1, so I guess I don't know how many Vaders are left in the deck at this point. I could have been keeping better track. It's been a back and forth game. But it takes out the Luke. Every time I play it early, the Vader takes out the Luke. So that is just something that I've come to learn that is going to happen if I play Luke early against this Qira deck. It's still, in my end, I feel is okay. You gotta stop that card draw. You just have to. Alright, so I decide to claim. Did not want my opponent to go claim in and then power the dark siding or anything like that. There's been a couple instances where I should have attacked with my ship, but keeping it alive to save for power the dark side is nice. So Hammerhead to take out the Vader, save one of my Fellow the Dragons for a Devastator or an Avenger that's going to probably come out eventually. A lot of stuff in that discard pile. A lot of stuff in that discard pile. Got 14 damage on my opponent's base and 7 damage on my base. Slowly being able to take this game into my hands. Oh, and there is that would be the third Vader, okay? The first Vader was played, then Palps returned, then we saw the second Vader, and now there is the third Vader. And so playing the Inferno 4 off of the Vader. Okay. Thinking here with what I'm gonna do. And then I will play Ki-Adi-Mundi. Now, my opponent already played a second card this phase, being the Inferno 4. So I will not be able to draw 2 cards. My opponent claims anyway. I don't know what I had in my hand. I think that was the only play I had for 4. And you definitely want to go as wide as your opponent. Now it kind of forces a Super Laser Blast. So if it was drawn, and now I have my coordinate online. Of course, Vader will clean up Ki-Adi-Mundi immediately if that is the desired option my opponent takes. Okay, so the Overwhelming Barrage comes out. Almost assuredly 5 damage will go to the Ki-Adi-Mundi, and it does. And then probably clean up the Red Squadron, I would imagine. Yes, so 2 ships for 1. And then as I said, me and Isaiah, we play each other a lot. He knew I was going to follow up with a Fell if I could, and I had it. Then the No Glory only results on the Rebellious Hammerhead. The removal spells left, right, left, right, left, right, left. So now we got the Inferno 4 and the Death Trooper on my opponent's side, and my board is clear. We got 17 damage on my opponent's base and 7 damage on my base. Probably going to get closer to even after this turn, I imagine. So I play Poe Dameron. I have a spicy play cooking in my head at the moment. And if it pays off, it pays off. We'll see. We'll see. All right, resourcing up for the turn. Both having removal spells. Lots of removal spells going left and right. Lots of Vaders going away. Lots of Lukes going away. Hammerheads left and right. Poe. Palps return. I assume I'm going to grab the Maul that was discarded at an earlier time. But if he grabs Vader, could grab a Phase 3 Dark Trooper potentially, if there was still potentially one left in the deck. Both decks are thinning quite much. Does decide to do the Vader. Okay, so because my opponent did not play the Maul, I am able to get this spicy playoff. Because Poe will survive with 1 damage. So I got like 4 cards in hand. I will discard a Sham and a Kanan. I will defeat the Vader and defeat the shield. I will do 2 damage to the Vader to defeat it. Defeat the shield off the Trooper and do 6 damage to base. So now my opponent has 23 damage on base. And now I am hoping that my opponent, instead of playing a card, sacks the Death Trooper into the Poe. And that is exactly what happens. And so now I am able to do what I'm wanting to do, which is 3 6, 9, 4, Profundity. And when played, your opponent discards a card, and then if they still have more cards than you, they have to discard another card. I have one card in hand, so my opponent has to discard 2 cards. And it also is when defeated as well. So it can get hit by No Glory. That is also another reason I waited to play until I had one card in hand. That way, if a No Glory did come out, just hit one card. Or maybe the next turn, if you didn't have it this turn, draws it next turn, I could potentially maybe play the the card in hand before. But you do have to be careful. But whereas Obi-Wan will kind of betray you against a blue villain deck, you play him on 5 or 6. A No Glory is probably going to be ready. A Vigilance and I think that was another. I think that was an Overwhelming Barrage and Vigilance that got taken out. I can't remember. I was talking, but essentially with the discard package and then getting and having other cards take out the removal, it leads to Profundity being a great card, and potentially less No Glories. So Power of the Dark Side, and then takes out an Overwhelming Barrage from the hand. So still no hand. Play Luke, getting to neg out the Inferno 4. I got 5 resources left. My opponent deciding to claim or whether smuggle probably a Long Pike. Alright, my opponent decides to claim. Then I will play an Obi-Wan. Again, I normally do not like playing Obi-Wan, but the chances of a No Glory only results are much, much lower now. And I've discarded a bunch of cards. My opponent has to, probably resource to play one of his big ships or something like that. So we're feeling pretty good. We're very much ahead. We were able to slowly grind this game 2 away. Okay, no Super Laser Blast. And pitch the Palp's Return to heal. Recognizing was in a lethal state, being at 23, and then now is at 20. No longer supporting lethal. Then I'm searching in my resource row to check if I have my Cassians. I have over 10 resources. I do have 10 Cassian, or I have 2 Cassians, my 2 Cassians in the resource row. I restore 3. And then my opponent scoops as he states, you have Cassians, don't you? And I just nodded and we went to the next game. So I was able to win game 2. I was able to scratch that out. What a close one. So let's go into game 3 and see how that shakes out. Okay, game 3 of this slobber knocker. I am deciding to mulligan and my opponent is keeping. This was a fun match. Our first match at the beginning of the day when I lost to Isaiah was a 3-gamer as well. Was a nail biter coming down to the wire. So it did not surprise me that is how this match was going as well. And at least I did not get 2. I'm thinking at this point I was able to win that second game. My opponent has the initiative. A Pershing on turn 1, followed by Power of the Dark Side, is kind of their best line into us. And if that happened, I was going to feel bad. However, my opponent passes, and I play a Phantom 2. No turn 1 play for the opponent, so feeling pretty good right now. Power of the Dark Side is pretty much demanded from the Phantom 2. It is a 5/1 with that grit, and the Power of the Dark Side does come out. Then I play the Red Squadron X-Wing, and I draw a card. Very, very good in this matchup, especially to get that that one extra card from a Yoda draw or the one extra card from the red X-Wing draw allows you to kill Qira with the Hammerhead. I'm telling you, otherwise you'll have 3 cards in hand and you need 4 cards in hand. I get a little crazy about this sort of stuff, but you find the lines and you got to be sure you have them. So I played the Poe. Your classic Poe, you got to force a Fellow Dragon or some sort of scenario for your opponent to do something. I moved the initiative token to where it should have been because that was bothering my OCD at the time. He did not claim. He flipped, and then I claimed, and I moved it to the right position to show that I was claiming. My OCD does that. I'll do it. I'll do it every time. I can't help it. Okay, so cleaned up the Poe with the Qira. Had no choice. I was at least able to avoid an overwhelming barrage. Had to immediately do that. That way, just Qira couldn't be, that Poe couldn't just be an absolute menace to society. Okay, now that is the thing I didn't like that I did. I gotta get better. We hadn't really started, and I didn't say I was ready until I played the card. But I readied the resource. I got to get better at that, and it feels bad whenever I do that stuff on camera. So, all is well. I should have stuck. It is what it is. You gotta get better at the decision making before you ready the resources. But I play the Cham. My opponent plays a Pershing, and I flip pawn, and now we're going to the next turn. All right, my opponent decides to draw with the Pershing. All right, I decide to take out the Pershing. Super Laser Blast. So I at least was able to ramp up with the Cham and force the Super Laser Blast out. So I still have my resources, so I'll play Kanan. My opponent claims. And I just choose to pass. I just spoke that I had a play, but it was greedy. I wonder what that was. I think it was. I think it was double force throw onto nothing. It still would have been effective, but I think I decided just to wait because I had another. I think I had another force unit like a Yoda that I could play if a removal spell was played again. And then No Glory comes out. Six, use Han's ability. And I will play Luke. Okay. Okay. Deciding if the turn I didn't do last time, if I want to do it now. I'm seeing only 3 cards in my opponent's hand. Four cards in hand. So I do hit the 2 force throws. Okay, so it looks like that was a Fell the Dragon and Overwhelming Barrage. Okay. The discard package coming coming alive real strong this game. And last game. It's crucial. It's crucial in this matchup. There's just certain times where it's like the most effective thing to do, especially against this deck. I fell that Devastator, very effective play. Play the Yoda, and then I pass. Feeling in a very much controlling state right now myself. Okay. Vader comes out. We hadn't seen Vader yet this game. The Pike Sentinel. Takes out Pike Sentinel. I believe I did just see that I drew another Force Throw. What do I have in hand? I set that one resource aside. You see, I'm trying to figure out a play to play the Force Throw also. And then I quickly realized what I was doing, and I moved those resources a little bit over to not just completely telegraph what I was trying to do. So I play 7 for another Luke. And then I Force Throw. And boom, it is a super laser tech, and we are able to take out the Pike Sentinel. So we are going to be able to hit base if no removal has come out. Again, I have not played a Crate Dragon. I have not played a Profundity. So even though Luke, it does suck if Luce gets power of the dark side comes out, you just feel it coming. And it happens. But I still got my redemptions, still got my tantives, still got the profundity. We have so many options that need to be taken care of. And so I played profundity. We both have 3 cards. My opponent only has to discard 1 card. It's a Death Trooper. And so now if my opponent decides to enter the profundity immediately, then they will have to discard the last card in their hand. So I've kind of worked out that Profundity seems to be a 3-for-1 type of card at the very least, and I really, really like it. Unless a No Glory results, then they can kind of even the stakes with it. But that's the only card that doesn't really have this be like a 3-for-1 type card, where 3 cards get traded for this one Profundity. There is no removal spell, so my opponent has to claim. Or event. Okay, resourcing it up. All right. Fell the dragon and has to discard a card. I will play the Red Squadron Y-Wing. My opponent has to claim. Probably has an Avenger in hand. So now I'm thinking I need to be sure to go wide. And then I play Redemption for 7. Boom. Reinforcement Walker. No removal. So I'm able to push damage into space. I have my second fell. So I pilot the L3 for 12 damage total, and then I play the Yoda. Say very, very good board state. A Super Laser Blast would be devastating, but we've already seen one. And in a Data Vault deck, it's going to be very hard to find. Can't pull it with Vader. And no Pershings to effectively get more card draw. Palp's Return. plays the Devastator. Alright. Decides to get rid of the Red Squadron X-Wing. Didn't really matter either way with the redemption. They were both hitting for 6. I was able to Rivals Fall the Devastator by K2 and then hit for 8 total. And that puts at 26. And it's looking like I am able to close this game out with the discards and just being very, very crucial. Hitting removal events, overwhelming barrage. I think we hit a Vader. Or we've been hitting Mauls this game, and just stopping the removal. And my camera did overheat. I was able to take the win at the end of this turn. So thank you guys for watching the tournament. I do apologize that my camera overheated and that you were not able to see the final action. But I believe a reinforcement walker was played, and then I was able to and then there was not a removal spell drew off of that. But I was able to win this turn, and it was I attacked, and then at the beginning of the next turn, my opponent did not draw an answer, and so there was a scoop. But yeah, again, my GoPro just kind of these long matches, it sometimes gets too hot and then it just shuts itself off. This was a pretty long one. It was a 50-minute match. So I appreciate you guys for watching. I have the finals match for the Carbonite box where my Han2 Blue is going against a Krennic Data Vault. I will have that up in a couple of days to allow this video to give a couple of days breathing room. But I will see you guys in a couple of days. I have already seen somebody ask for a deep dive on the Han2 Blue, so I will probably start working on that as well. Look for that after the finals match. I will see you guys next time. Peace.